What if I told you that one of the most important figures in the story of Jesus simply disappears from the pages of history? Not because her story ended, but because the text goes silent. There is something almost no one asks. After finishing the Gospels, what happened to Mary after? The biblical account shows her at the foot of the cross. It shows her in the upper room. It shows her filled with the Holy Spirit at Pentecost. And then nothing. The pages close around her life, like a door gently shutting. For centuries, Christian tradition has tried to fill that silence. With assumptions, with devotion, with imagery.
Keep
But often,
moving!
those images reveal more about the people who
Don't
created
look
them
back.
than about the real woman who lived, suffered, believed, and grew old in the ancient world. Because Mary did not disappear. She kept breathing. She kept praying. She kept living in a Roman Empire that had executed her son, in a community that rejected a truth she had known long before any apostle preached it, in a body that aged while carrying the most extraordinary memory any human being has ever carried. This is the story of those forgotten years, the life that continued, the woman who believed first and was remembered last. To understand where Mary was around the year 37 AD, we must return to the moment when everything changed, a moment no mother should ever endure, and yet she endured it with a dignity that even John, who stood there, could not fully describe. In John 19, verse 25, the words are simple, almost restrained, standing by the cross of Jesus for his mother. Just that, standing. She did not run. She did not hide. While the men who followed Jesus for 3 years fled in fear, the women remained. Mary remained. And that small detail reveals everything. She was not fragile. At that time, she was likely between 45 and 50 years old. A woman shaped by decades of life. Galilee, exile in Egypt, misunderstanding, waiting. She had raised him, fed him, watched him grow, and now she watched him die. Nazareth, the village she came from, was small, quiet, ordinary, a place where nothing extraordinary was expected. And yet, it became the beginning of the most extraordinary story the world has ever known. But by the time of the crucifixion, Mary was no longer in Nazareth. She was in Jerusalem, and what happened there would shape the rest of her life. Because from the cross, Jesus spoke again. Woman, behold
Here,
your son.
let me get that for you.
And to the disciple, behold your mother. This was not just care. This was not
thank
just
you. Make sure you
responsibility.
take some of this
This was
curry.
the creation of a new family. From that moment, Mary lived with John. Jerusalem became her home, a city full of tension, Roman occupation, religious conflict, a fragile, emerging movement called the Way. And right in the middle of that, Mary lived. Acts 1 verse 14 tells us clearly. She was there, in the upper room, praying, waiting, hoping, alongside the disciples, alongside her other sons. And then, Pentecost came, the Spirit descended, and Mary, the mother of Jesus, was filled with the Holy Spirit, just like everyone else. No special distance, no separation. She was not above the church. She was part of it, but she carried something no one else could. Memory. The apostles knew Jesus as a teacher, a miracle worker, a voice that changed lives. But Mary knew him as a child. She remembered Bethlehem.
I
the angel,
remember the first
manger,
time I saw the
quiet years.
ocean.
How do we know
I
these
must have
details?
been younger than
Because
you
someone
are
remembered.
now.
And someone
And it
told the
felt
story.
like the whole
Luke himself
world
says,
opened up.
he spoke to eyewitnesses, and no witness was closer than Mary. She became the living memory of the early church, not as an idol, not as a distant figure, but as a presence, a quiet, faithful presence that connected the beginning to everything that followed. She lived
Keep
among them.
moving.
She worked.
Plenty
She prayed.
of space
She shared
for
life with them.
everyone.
She experienced fear, persecution, uncertainty, just like everyone else.
Finest
But within her
pottery
was
in
something
all
deeper,
of
a
Ephesus.
faith that had already said
Come and
yes
see.
before there was proof. And that is what sustained her.
I
Through the
heard
silence,
the new
through the
shipment
years,
arrived
through the
this
unknown.
morning.
Then comes the question. History cannot
Oh,
fully
good.
answer. Where did she
I
go?
need to buy
Jerusalem?
some fresh
Ephesus?
olives.
Both traditions exist. Both are possible. But the truth is, we do not know for certain. And maybe that is
Please,
not what
Lord,
matters
give
most.
me
Because
strength
Mary's
during
story
this
is not about where
difficult
she ended.
time.
It is about how she lived.
I
She lived
trust
in faith,
in you
in patience,
completely.
in quiet endurance. She believed when nothing made sense. She trusted before she understood. She said yes before she had answers. And that one yes changed history forever. So now the question is no longer about Mary. It is about you. If you were in her place, if you were asked, without explanation, without certainty, would you still say yes? Write it in the comments. Because sometimes, faith is not loud. Sometimes, it is simply staying, believing, and saying yes, again and again.